Hello everyone and welcome back to the IT training video series. I am Jake Stupka, the IT director for Pewaukee Valley Schools. In today's lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about Google Calendar and a couple of things that I wanted to point out to people to sort of make you aware of some settings that could potentially be impacting you and you don't even know it. What motivated me to make this video was that several people came to me with concerns about not receiving invitation emails when they were added to an event. And they were pretty important events too, things like IEPs, parent meetings, and so forth. So I wanted to talk a little bit about where we got to in terms of solving that problem to help people with not encountering that problem in the future. So as you can see, right now I'm on the Google Calendar screen. And just as a reminder, you can get there very easily by going through your email. So if you go to your Gmail account, you can use your apps browser at the top right-hand corner. You click on Google Apps, and then you can open up Calendar, and that'll open up the calendar screen for you. And you can see your week view here. You can change the view. You can look at the month view if you want, whatever it may be. As you can see, I have no events on here right now. I just didn't want anything to be a distraction there. So let's say, for example, that you get added to a meeting. But you are not getting the email for it. Now, this can be a problem for a couple of reasons, because one of the kind of fickle points about this is that if you get added to a meeting, it'll actually appear on your calendar because you were invited, but you may not be notified unless you explicitly look at your calendar. And obviously that can really cause some problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a test event here. I'm actually using my phone in the background here so that I can find it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an event, and I'm going to add my IT training account so that we can sort of see how this workflow works here. So let me go ahead and I'm going to go in here and actually just go ahead and archive all of my unread emails so that I can show you how this is going to work. So right now what I'm doing is I'm creating an event on my phone, which again, you can't see. I apologize for that. I'm going to call it test event. And I'm going to make it for today at 5 p.m. Okay, right now it's about 4:50. So I'm going to go ahead and save the event, and it's going to send invites to the invited parties. Now, if I refresh my screen, you're going to see that I'm not getting any emails here. However, if I look over here and I go today, so I'm on today's thing, here's my test event, 5 p.m. However, I did not get a notification email. That's a problem. Not everybody looks at their calendar directly when they don't have to. You'll want to be sort of prompted that you have an event coming up, and then you can accept it. The fact that this is filled in white and only outlined in blue means that you were invited, but you haven't accepted the event. So if you see, I'll go in here and hit yes, it'll actually turn blue. However, again, if you're not getting the emails that prompt you, then how are you going to know? So let's talk about how to fix that problem. You're going to want to have your calendar open, and your default calendar is actually your name. It'll say your name here under my calendars. Mine says IT training because that's the name of the account that I'm currently signed into. You'll see here it's IT training at pvs.k12.nm.us. So if you're, John Smith, it'll say John Smith right here. So you're going to want to click the three dots next to your default calendar, which again is your name, and go to Settings and Sharing. Now, under Settings and Sharing, there's this section here called General Notifications on the left side. If you click on that, you'll notice that this box comes up here, and there's several different classifications of notifications. Now, on several people that came to me that were having this problem, we went here directly and found that sure enough, all of these were set to none. Now, why exactly that was, I'm not sure. It could have been changed at some point by accident. It's kind of unclear why that happened. When I checked my own account, my settings were fine. So I'm not sure exactly what happened with the calendar notifications. But to change your calendar notifications, you're going to want to look at these different classifications of emails that you can get and select what you want to get accordingly. So in my case, what I'm going to want to do is select email for all of these. And a quick note about this bottom one is actually one of my favorite functions. At 5 a.m. every day, you'll get an email that will lay out your daily agenda. So it'll show you what you have scheduled for that day, and it's kind of just a primer for beginning your day. And I've used that for quite some time now, and I find it quite helpful. It helps me mentally prepare for meetings as I go about the day, and to sort of remember that I have something coming up so that it doesn't sneak up on me. So I do recommend that one, but you can frankly put these settings to whatever you want. New events and changed events and canceled events, for that matter, are the three that I would definitely recommend that you make sure these are on email. Now you'll notice there's no save button. When you change these, it'll actually make the changes here, notification settings saved. That little pop-up at the bottom, it's instantly changed. So there's no place you have to go and click that to hit save. So that's how you fix that first problem. And I think it's important that you at least take a look at that so that you can make sure that you're understanding what kind of notifications you're going to be getting. Now, one last thing I wanted to talk about that's just a helpful tip is when it comes to calendar notifications, when you add an event to your calendar, by default, there are no notifications set up for that event. So let's say that you add an event to your own calendar. Say that you add an event that you have an appointment coming up or something like that. Normally what you would have to do is go into the event and add a notification so that it'll email you 30 minutes in advance or something like that. What I'm going to show you is about doing default notification settings. The way that I like to do that is if you look at a specific calendar, you can actually go into your default calendar, the same place we were before. And if you go to event notifications, these are the default settings. So when you add an event, it'll get these notification settings by default. So again, the default is this, where you have nothing. So when you add an event, there's no warning or anything like that unless you explicitly define it. What I'm saying that would be helpful is if you add, for example, you get an email 30 minutes ahead of time or something like that, and you'll see that it's saved again. That means any event you add will automatically have that notification set on it as a default. It'll help you avoid missing things that you set them up when you're in a hurry or something, and it'll help you keep from forgetting that you've done that because it'll give you an automatic notification. Again, this is just more of a tip than anything else, but I really recommend that you set up something here that's helpful for you to make sure that you don't forget events that you yourself have scheduled, because that has happened to me a number of times, and obviously it causes problems. So those are the quick tips I wanted to give you for this calendar lesson today. I hope this was helpful. And this has been the IT training video series. We are going to try and ramp up our video offerings again very soon. So stay tuned for more. And I hope this was helpful for you. And we will see you at the next lesson.